Hey, and welcome. So, you've probably heard all these buzzwords flying around: blockchain, NFTs, crypto, and maybe felt a little lost in the jargon. Well, you've come to the right place. Think of this as your guided expedition into the heart of Web3. We're going to cut through all that noise and hopefully turn that confusion into clarity. So, let's dive right in.
To really get where we're going, we first have to look at where we've been. Our journey starts way back in the 90s with Web 1. This was the read-only internet. It was basically a giant digital library of static pages. Then around 2004, Web 2 came along. This is the read-write internet we all know and use today. Social media, blogs, YouTube, we all became creators, which was amazing. But there was a catch, right? A few giant companies ended up controlling everything, our data, our content, and that's where Web 3 comes in. It's the next big step, the read-write-own internet. It's a huge shift in thinking, one that's all about putting power back into our own hands.
So let's really break that down. What does that shift actually look like? Well, in the Web 2 world we're used to, companies own our content. Our identity is tied to a Google or Facebook account. They set the rules, and the whole thing is powered by advertising. But now, in Web 3, that model gets completely flipped on its head. You own your data and your digital stuff. Your identity isn't an account, it's a decentralized wallet that only you control. And it's often the communities, not the platforms, that decide the rules. We're moving from an internet owned by platforms to an internet owned by its users. Okay, so what's the magic that makes this user-owned internet even possible? To really navigate this new continent, we first need to understand the very ground it's built on, and that is a foundational piece of technology called the blockchain. Now, don't let the word blockchain intimidate you. Forget all the complex code for just a second. At its absolute core, a blockchain is just a digital ledger, a record book. But here's the crucial difference. Instead of being kept in one place by one company, like a bank, this ledger is copied and shared across thousands of computers all over the world. And that's the key. It's decentralized. No single person or company is in control, which means the records can't be secretly changed or deleted. It's a system built for trust from the ground up. So how does it all work in practice? Well, let's say you send a transaction. Right away, a global network of computers, we call them nodes, all race to verify that your transaction is legit. They do this by solving a really complex math puzzle. The first one to solve it gets to create a new block with your transaction inside. That block then gets permanently changed to the one before it, creating a blockchain. And once that happens, every single computer on the network updates its copy of the ledger. It's this process of agreement that makes the whole system so incredibly secure, all without a CEO or a central boss calling the shots. All right, every explorer needs their gear, right? And on this expedition into Web 3, your most important tool, your absolute essential piece of kit, is your digital wallet. And trust me, it's so much more than just a place to hold some crypto. In the world of Web 3, your wallet is pretty much everything. It's your passport, your digital identity for logging into apps and services. It's your bank account for managing all your digital assets. And it's your keychain for unlocking new experiences. The biggest difference from Web 2 is that you, not Google, not Apple, not Facebook, are in complete and total control of this identity. Now, when you're starting out, you're going to run into two main kinds of wallets. First, you have what's called a hot wallet. This is usually an app on your phone or a browser extension. It's always online, which makes it super easy and convenient for day-to-day stuff. Think of it like your daily spending purse. On the other hand, you have a cold wallet. This is a physical device, kind of like a special USB stick, that you keep totally offline. This is your vault. It's where you store assets for the long term, giving you the absolute best security against any online threats. Okay, I really need you to listen to this. This is the most important part. When you set up a wallet, you're given something called a seed phrase. It's a list of 12 or 24 random words. This is not a password you can reset. It is the one and only master key to everything inside that wallet. If you lose it, your assets are just gone forever. And if someone else gets their hands on it, they can take everything. It's that serious. Look, this new level of control means that security is now your responsibility. And the rules are simple, but they are absolutely non-negotiable. Never ever take a screenshot of your seed phrase. Never ever share it with anyone. I don't care if they say they're from customer support. And please, do not save it online in Google Drive or Dropbox. The only truly safe way is the old school way. Write it down on a piece of paper or even on metal and store it somewhere safe and offline. This is the single most critical thing you can do to protect yourself on this journey.
Okay, so we've got our foundation set, we've got our tools, we know how to stay safe. Now let's get to the really fun part. Let's start mapping the landmarks. What can you actually do in this new world? This is where it gets really, really exciting.
The secret engine that powers almost everything you'll see in Web3 is something called a smart contract. It's basically just a computer program, an agreement written in code that lives on the blockchain. And it's programmed to automatically run when certain things happen. It's pure if this, then that logic. This means you can create agreements that enforce themselves without needing a lawyer, a bank, or any other middleman. It's trust, but automated.
So you've definitely heard of these things, NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. And they are powered by those smart contracts we just talked about. The easiest way to think about an NFT is as a digital receipt or a certificate of ownership that's stored on the blockchain. It's a totally unique, one-of-a-kind token that proves you own something, whether that's a piece of digital art, a song, or even a ticket to a concert. For the very first time, this technology allows us to truly own a digital item.
But here's where it gets really powerful. NFTs are so much more than just digital art. They can be programmed with real-world utility. For example, an NFT can be the key that gets you into an exclusive event or online course. It can act as a membership card to a private community, even giving you voting rights. And they can have royalties built right in, so an artist automatically gets a cut every single time their work is resold down the line. It's a game changer for creators.
Next up, we have DeFi, which stands for decentralized finance. I want you to imagine an entire parallel financial system that's being built from scratch on the blockchain. It takes all the things we do at a normal bank, lending, borrowing, trading, earning interest, and rebuilds them using transparent smart contracts instead of corporate middlemen. What this creates is a global, open financial system that's accessible to anyone in the world with an internet connection 24/7.
And finally, let's talk about DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations. This one's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea is pretty cool. Imagine an online club or a company where there's no single CEO. Instead, the rules are all written in code, and every single decision, like how to spend money from a shared treasury, is made by the members voting with tokens. It's a totally new way for people all over the world to organize, collaborate, and build things together online, all with complete transparency. Wow. Okay. We have covered a massive amount of ground today, from the core tech all the way up to these incredible new applications being built. But here's the thing, this isn't the end of our expedition. It's really just the beginning of your own.
So as you venture out from here, I want you to keep these 4 principles in mind. Think of them as your compass. First, knowledge is power. Just understanding these basics is your best tool. Second, security is your responsibility. You're in control now, so you have to protect your assets. Third, community really matters. This whole space is being built by people working together. And finally, don't be afraid to experiment. The absolute best way to learn is by carefully and safely doing. We've given you a starter map and a few essential tools for your backpack. But the most incredible thing about Web3 is that the map is still being drawn. The future of this digital world is unwritten. It's this vast, uncharted territory, just waiting for explorers exactly like you to go out there, to discover, to build, and to shape whatever comes next. The adventure is officially yours.